How much would you pay to have a TV show recording of the best moments of your life? I asked the exact same question to a friend of mine, just for fun, to see what he would say. And, he turned to me and said he wouldn't pay anything. He just tells me nothing. And I was just like, what do you mean you wouldn't pay nothing? It would be amazing to get to the end of your life and have everything documented. And he tells me, nothing that's happened in my life is worth remembering. It's like my life hasn't started yet. We're talking about someone who is, 19, about to turn 20 in a couple months. And when he told me that sort of thought, it was familiar to me. I remembered it's how I used to feel up until I was 16. I also felt like my life hadn't started yet, because frankly, it hadn't. I would spend every single day playing video games, watching TV shows, scrolling on TikTok, basically, spying on other people's lives. So how could I feel that my life had started if my actions were the ones of a spectator? And I would just keep repeating that cycle. 1 year would go by and I would think to myself, damn, another year where nothing special has happened. And it makes me think that this issue is probably on a much bigger scale than I initially thought. It's sort of something, many of us can't quite put our fingers on. It's very hard to articulate that feeling. Essentially, you see people who are, younger than you, achieving so much in life. They're traveling, they are making money, they're falling in love, they're experiencing so many things. And then when you compare it to your own life, you see that you've barely even accomplished the basic things. When I was in this situation, I felt completely stuck, to be honest. I didn't know what I could do to change my situation. Or actually, let me rephrase that. I knew what I had to do in order to get out of it. I just didn't have the courage to do it. And I think that's such an important aspect, is to ask yourself, are you being honest? Like, truly, are you honest with yourself? What have you made this past year to change the situation that you are in? And it's painful to ask that question, because most of the times we don't like the answer that we tell ourselves. But, that answer is the one we need to hear. It's the one we need to hear because it's what will lead us to change our behaviors. We all have these aspirations and these dreams, and, at least I expected them to just fall on my lap one day, and then I would wake up and be like, oh, something happened in my life. And when it didn't happen, I just thought, it wasn't meant to be. And the risk that's associated with this type of thinking is that if you never make that action, if you never pursue the things, if you just stay waiting for them to happen, you're essentially waiting for life to happen. And there's this quote that I love. I can't remember where I heard it, but life is essentially what you do while you're waiting to die. And, it's a bit sad, it's a bit, brutal, but it's true. Essentially, that's what life is. So if all you're doing while you're waiting to perish is, watching other people's lives, consuming content, and not actually living your own life or even producing certain things, well then no wonder that I felt like my life hadn't started, and that so many people feel like their life hadn't started yet. Because frankly, especially people who are born in this generation, where even from a young age you have access to the internet and social media, it's easy to, mistake your actual life to what you see on social media. Because it's not easy to go from someone who used to watch TV shows whenever they had free time to someone who now wants to suddenly live their life and experience new things, meet new people. But when you have a lot of ambitions and you don't know how to get there, that's when you feel anxiety and when you feel lost or stuck. So what I did was choose one goal at a time and pursue that one goal. For me, that one goal was getting in shape, because at 16 it was the one that seemed easier to accomplish. So that's what worked for me. For you it might be different, but the important thing is that you focus on one goal at a time so that you can get rid of that anxiety. And lastly, after you've chosen one goal and you are fixated on it, I guess that you have to stop comparing yourself to other people. Even if they are your age or maybe younger, the reality is we all have different, start lines in this race. Some people, are born with certain advantages, others with certain disadvantages. So I just don't think it's fair for you to compare your life to the life of a stranger who you don't know. So instead of doing that, compare yourself to who you were yesterday or a week ago, maybe a month ago. When you start doing this, you start to feel amazing because you can clearly see progress. I'm constantly doing that, comparing myself to my older version and thinking, wow, 3 months ago I couldn't have done this. I don't want you to live your life always waiting for something to happen. And it takes a while to get used to it, but I know you can do it. In a couple of hours I'm headed to college, and yeah, I just decided that I would record this little video for you guys this morning. It's still 11 a.m. and it's an amazing day out here. So it's gonna be a great day today, and I hope you have an amazing day as well.